Hodari, you are the program director for the Thriving Congregations Initiative. And I know you and I have talked about a number of congregations who primarily focus on worship. But how do you encourage congregations to engage in the work of social impact? And how do we strengthen those that are doing that work?
Great to be with you all here on behalf of what I would consider and suggest say is an anchor institution, that is the ITC, that has spent a great deal, many of years, equipping leaders to go out into the world and lead in congregational settings. One of the challenges that we are noticing within the church demographic is that there is a challenge between the church's missional identity and its current economic model that is not adapting to the changing landscape around it. So there are many instances where congregations that were once very thriving congregations working from a model that suited them at a particular time in the history and life of the community are now experiencing drastic changes. And many of these changes have exposed some of the challenges that many of these congregations are faced with. So some of the work that we're trying to engage, particularly Black congregations in, is recognizing, number one, the crisis, and then helping them to understand how they can shift, how the paradigm can be shifted, and how they can enter into what we're calling a more prophetic form of leadership. The traditional model in many churches is one where there's a single leader who kind of leads the pack and leads the church, and they follow. But we see that the churches that are most successful and churches that have been thriving are churches that operate from a prophetic paradigm. And that paradigm that they operate from is one where the community is involved in advancing the agenda and mission of the church and shaping the congregational model and creating a ministry that is meeting and addressing the needs within the community. So we are trying to identify through our program and trying to help congregations become thriving institutions. And what we recognize as thriving are congregations that possess this prophetic missional identity. They're engaged and committed to issues of justice, equity, and community, and that pastors in these congregations function as partners in ministry. So there's really, in my tradition, Reformed tradition, it would be considered the priesthood of all believers, meaning that everyone is involved in the work and the process of the church. And then next, that these churches are engaged in trusted relationships within the community, that they are building those partnerships and working with individuals and corporations and or impact investors within the community. And also that they're able to adjust and be agile to the human needs in the community as well. So these are some of the examples of what a thriving congregation looks like. And through the work that we're trying to engage them in through Oikos, through their learning model and map, and then some of the work we're doing around economic democracy with MIT, the goal is to help these churches understand how they can enter into this thriving phase as a congregation.